Hi, good afternoon, everyone. And let me introduce myself first. My name is Mery Anjelina, and I'm from 5F class. So, in this time, I will present the reading activities with problem solving technique. Yeah, to make it fast, let's restart. So, the reading activities for young learners is slightly different. The teacher starts with reading the book, then the student will hear that. While the teacher allows students to see the book, then they will understand what kind of story or book that you read. And the student will associate the words or the symbol that you read. Yeah. Uh, Reading activities for young learners that sometimes is difficult, sometimes is easy, because not all students can read. Maybe they know the alphabet, but a little bit hard to spell it, something like that. So we as a teacher, we help them. We help them to read the story or read the book, something like that, and then show to them that we read what kind of book we read. Yeah. And then the technique that we can use the reading activities to teach the student for young learners. So I have a problem solving technique. So this kind of technique that you can use when teach the young learners reading. The problem solving is a technique that can improve student reading skill. For example, that you can use basic arithmetical skills. Then the student will read that detail and solve them. Yeah. So in this problem solving technique, so the teacher can give a math with reading, something like that. That we don't use like 3 plus 1 is 4, something like that. No, maybe like a story. So the problem solving can help teacher to teach the student. And then the teacher can give problem solving technique with the 3rd level of student and the age group student. And the time that teacher will give only 30 minutes, because the 3rd level of student and the age group, so that's not want to learn take a long time, something like that. We just use 30 minutes for that. And then when you will give the student problem solving, you have to prepare the material, the task, and the example too. Something that you have to prepare are, so the first, prepare some mathematical problems in English, then use the familiar problems, then the student will get it. So the first, we prepare the mathematical problem. So maybe in we as a teacher, we know 3 plus 1 is 4, something like that. But for young learners, so we use like a story, and then there is or maybe Andy have 3 balloons, and then Ida give Andy 1 balloon. How much Andy balloons now? Something like that. So we can use that. And for young learners, we also use the familiar problem. So they're not gonna, what kind of test is this? I don't know. Sometimes I know like that. So we use the familiar, and then the student will get it about that. Oh, I know what is this, something like that. And then the second, make copies of the problem. So we as a teacher, we have to have the copies of the problem. So we don't just give to the student and then we don't have anything to the copies, I mean. And then in class, 1, put your student in pair and write the problem on board and ask them to try and solve it. Go over it with the whole class and sort out any difficulties with language or arithmetic. So in class, we can put the student in pair first, and then we as a teacher, we write the problem in the board, something like that, and then we ask to the student who can try this, who can solve this. We don't use solve, who can try to answer this, something like that. And then maybe one of the example or the task that we give to student that's have one or two the difficult, then we can get it. Oh, the student don't know in this question, something like that. And the second, give out the problem and let the student start. Tell them that they can discuss the problem with their partner in their native language if they like. So the second in class, so the student can start to try or to answer, but sometimes not all students can do it. So maybe it's difficult to understand what kind of task is that, something like that. So the student and any other student can tell with another student or can discuss it, something like that. It's okay because that's in a pair, right? And the third, wait until everyone has finished and go through the answer with the whole class. Yeah, for this is the third. We wait for the student. We look the student that's finished or not. So this we can get the feedback. Are the student does the student make it all of them or not? Something like that. We can know about that for the third. Yeah, and this the kind of example that you can use for teaching reading for young learners with problem-solving technique. The first, on Monday, I see 5 tiger. On Thursday, I see 4 tiger. On Wednesday, I see 7. How many the tiger in the total? Something like that. So 5 plus 4 is 9 plus 7 is 16, something like that. So this the working out, so the student can work from that. Yes, and the second, the same. The third two, the fourth, the fifth, and the other. And this I also have the other example, but that's same because this kind of example that we can use to teach the student with problem-solving technique. Yeah. And then, actually, we can use another variation about teaching this. Another way of presenting this activity is to write each problem on a 5 card. Give each student a card, and when she or he finish they pass it on to someone else and find one they have not done. So from this we can see the student are more individually, yeah, because this not in pair. So sometimes the student not in pair, so don't want to discuss, or sometimes they discuss with all of the students, something like that. So in this variation, we can see the feedback from individual student, yeah, and then the 5 card give each student a card, something like that. So we can use only one, the number 1 we put in the one file card and then give the student. If we give each of that, we can do it or not, something like that. So I think this problem solving technique, that's a little bit little bit easy for teaching young learners, because sometimes if we give 3 plus 1, something like that, the student will feel, I don't know, what is this, something like that. This is too hard, this is too difficult, something like that. If we give like a story, so maybe she or he will more know about the mathematics, something like that. Yeah, I think that's all about my presentation today. Thank you so much for your attention, and thank you so much for watching too. I think this will be help you for teaching the student. And thank you so much, and goodbye.